The US Mint has officially printed its last penny. It's strange, right? How something so small and so ordinary could carry so many memories. We all had pennies in our childhood piggy banks, those pennies we would toss into the wishing wells. It's definitely more than money. It's a tiny piece of time that we've all touched. So before this little coin disappears forever, let's look back at the curious and wonderful life of the penny. The penny story began in 1793, back when George Washington was still around, and coffee cost less than a penny. So back then, pennies were made of pure copper, and they were so big you could use them as a paperweight. People called it the large cent, and it didn't have Lincoln on it yet, just Lady Liberty, flowing hair and all. So basically, the penny started out bold and elegant, and slightly oversized, probably much like the fashion sense of the 1790s. So in 1909, the penny got a makeover for Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, making him the first real person ever featured on a United States coin. Until then, our coins were all about ideas like liberty, justice, hope. But Lincoln, he brought a real human touch, so the penny suddenly felt personal. Fun fact. In 1943, during World War II, copper was needed for ammunition, so they made pennies out of steel. They looked silver. People called them steelies. The problem was that they rusted, they stuck to magnets, and they fooled cashiers. So the steel penny retired pretty quickly. Since 1982, pennies have been 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. Which means if you melt one down for the metal, congratulations, you've just made about a half a cent and possibly committed a federal offense. It actually costs more than 2 cents to make one penny. That's like paying $20 for a $10 gift card. We've literally been losing money making money. It feels like the American way. But every now and then, a rare penny appears, like the 1943 copper penny that sold for $1.7 million. So, yeah, check your junk drawers because you could just be a millionaire and not even know it. I think what a lot of us love most about pennies is not so much about their history, but more about their memories. When I was a kid, my friends and I used to lay pennies on the railroad tracks, waiting for the train to flatten them into shiny ovals of mystery. It felt like magic, like alchemy for kids with pockets full of wonder. And do you remember those machines at the fairs or the amusement parks that you can turn the crank and the penny would press out onto this elongated charm stamped with a logo? Some tiny souvenir of the day that you had the most fun? Or all those pennies that we've tossed into fountains and wishing wells? Every single one carrying someone's hope. Probably yours and mine. Even now, I can't help picking up a penny when I see one heads up. Some childhood habits and superstitions are just too curious to let go. So, I actually have a tiny little change purse that belonged to my great grandmother. It was tucked inside her apron when she passed away, just a little soft pouch with a few coins inside. Snap. So, the pennies are actually from the 1950s. Every time I hold these coins, I can almost imagine her standing in a small town country store, counting out coins for flour or sugar. It makes me think these coins have witnessed so many lives before ours. They've passed through hands that built families, cooked dinners, and dreamed dreams. They're like tiny little storytellers, if only we knew how to listen. So while Americans are still reflecting on our memories about pennies, other countries have already moved on. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they all rounded up and said goodbye. But here in the US, we held on a little longer. Maybe because deep down we knew it wasn't just about money, but it really is about memory. And maybe also because we don't trust math when we're standing at the register. Now, as the last pennies roll off the mints machines, they're carrying not just copper and zinc, but stories. Generations of pockets, fountains, wishes, and lucky finds. Maybe the end of the penny reminds us that even the smallest things, the overlooked, the ordinary, can hold incredible meaning. Because in a world that keeps rushing forward, the penny reminds us to pause. And remember, look closely and find wonder in the little things. I'm Carolyn, and this is Carolyn's Curious World, where even the tiniest coins hold a century of stories. Just Lady Liberty. Just Lady Liberty. Just Lady Liberty. La 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 la.